Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some oldies but goodies. I'm in a cold steel mood these past few days, and I got a bunch of cold steels in front of me. I even got a new old cold steel just today. And by new old, I mean it's a design that's been around a long time, but this exact version of it, I don't have, and I needed one to sort of fill out that part of the collection. So I indulged myself and got one of those. We'll take a look at that, some other cold steels. And then we do have a random knife giveaway of this beautiful Eafengrow EF123, courtesy of myself and OG Blade Reviews, Dave. He sent this to me to send to you. We'll look at that. And then I want to talk about what's your favorite emotional support knife. We talk about that concept here a bit. The emotional support knife is the knife you have on you or bring with you for no other reason but just to say it's a flipper, open and close, open and close, open and close. Or maybe it's some ridiculously large Bowie knife or something like I've been bringing around with me in my backpack, just because I like the way it feels to have it on me. We're going to talk all about that and much, much more tonight on Thursday Night Knives. Marco, nice to have you here, sir. He says, evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, good evening to you, sir. The pleasure is all ours. Trent Costello, I know he carries around a big emotional support knife. He says, sounds crazy, but mine's the Tops Wild Pig Hunter. That's a great knife. Just because it's always right in my easy chair, and I just love holding it. Actually, I want to get the blackout handles and Kydex sheath for it. Okay, so I have that knife. That was a birthday gift or a Christmas gift from my wife one year. Of course, it was me sending her a link and her buying it. Ground Fog, nice to have you here, sir. But I love that Wild Pig Hunter. I have the one with the leather sheath and the tan handles and the gray blade. But I always thought the blackout one looked pretty cool too. That's based on a Russian military blade. Angelo, nice to see you here, sir. We have Angelo with us, bidding us a good evening. OG Blade Reviews, nice to have you here, Dave. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. My favorite ESK is the Kongscraft Neckbiter Sax. Holy Max, that is a beautiful one. That anything from Kongscraft, as a matter of fact, I was just talking about him. I always forget his first name. Please help me, Dave. But we were talking about Mr. Cones. Who was I talking to about that? Well, anyway, I was just talking about how awesome his knives are with one of the people I was just interviewing. I know who it was. It was Tate Buzzard of the Norman Tactical. We talked on Monday night, and that'll be coming out on Sunday. And man, that was a great conversation. But we both agree that Kongscraft are some awesome knives. Sword XXXY, nice to have you here. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Thank you for the Bad Feather Knives knife. It's awesome. Okay, Sword, I'm so glad I got to you. As a matter of fact, I was just wondering about that tonight. As I was driving home thinking about Thursday Night Knives, I was wondering if you got it. I'm glad you have it because someone mentioned, oh, it might be in customs for weeks. And that was a little sinking feeling to hear that. But I'm glad to hear it got through to you. Your male grooming kit got to you. James Hart, nice to have you here, James. Greetings and well-met. Oh, I'm sorry. Greetings and well-met fellow knifeaholics. I hope everyone is sharp and rust-free. I know I am totally rust-free. And maybe not so sharp. I had kind of I just had one of those days, where you're like, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? Very, very minor existential crisis today. Have a nice day. Good to have you here with us. Emotional support knife. I've been wearing my custom built Bearing Made. Oh, I like that. I love his handles or their handles. Bearing Made Sandbar Buck Stag handled copper S-Guard Bowie with frog style sheath a lot lately. I also wear a K-bar often. Oh, that's cool. Something about just wearing a K-bar seems, I don't know, kind of everymanish. Whereas carrying the other one is a little bit fancier, but both super sweet. Yeah, nicely done. Ron Crow, nice to have you here, Ron. Howdy, folks, he says. Well, howdy to you, sir. Jammin Parker, evening, everyone. Jammin, nice to have you here, sir. Favorite ESK? That's a really tough question for me. If I had to pick one, probably the RMJ Tactical Drake in 3V. Drake. I'm not sure which one the Drake is, but RMJ Tactical. So cool. All of their stuff. They have a lot of different implements of chaos that I like. The War Club, all of the beautiful tomahawks. They have the long sword, sword-ish thing. Which one's the Drake? Remind me, sir. I love them. And I had a nice long conversation once with Mr. Martin. But I tried to get him on the show and he said, yeah, that'd be great. And then the trail went cold. So next time I see him at Blade Show, I got to repeat the process. Maybe with repetition, I can get him on. He was a fascinating dude. And his name's not Mr. Martin. What is it? RMJ. Can't remember his name. Maybe that's why. James Hart says, for me, my ESK is either my Cold Steel Raja 2, nice choice, with 6-inch kukri style blade, or my Cold Steel Espada XL with 7.5-inch blade. Whew. Both are folders, and I wear jeans with deep pockets. Excellent, sir. Excellent. I like knowing that. Those are two great ESKs right there. Split and Slices. Good to have you here, Byron. He says, howdy, Knife Junkie Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Marco Jam and P, Ron C, Rex, Mr. Rexu, OG Tagada, Angelo, Ground Fog, Trent C, James H, and all coming in. Thursday Night Knives, he says. Well, Byron, always a pleasure to have you with us, man. As it is, Craig Vincent, another great one. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, evening to you, sir. This could be yours. Hashtag knife in the comments. Really cool fixed blade knife from Eafengrow. Now, I do not own any Eafengrows, but just from the look of this and the feel of this, I haven't used it for anything. Seems like a pretty well-made knife. And it comes to us from Dave of OG Blade Reviews to give away to one of you's lucky guys. And there it is. Nice looking blade. It's got a cool guard on it. And what is this? I guess it's G10. G10 or micarta. I think it's G10. Nicely contoured, cool knife, great sheath, and one of those kind of clips. Paul Mills, nice to have you here, Paul. Hello, Bob DeMarco, he says. Well, hello to you, Paul Mills. Good to have you with us. Will B, nice to have you. Greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Hope everyone is having a good evening. I'm having a good evening. I hope you are too, man. Mike Hauser, good to have you here, Mike. Howdy, all. Cold in Omaha. Oh, my God. I almost said Obama. Sorry. Mike Hauser, howdy, all. Cold in Omaha. Might as well sharpen. That's right. That's right. It'll warm you twice. Well, it'll warm you once anyway. Sharpening can warm you up if you're doing it like this. Addicted to Knives. Nice to have you here, Addicted. Hello, everyone, he says. Well, hello to you. Looks like a nice, peaceful little spot you got there. Split and Slices says, for your information, picked up 2 Recon 1 Tontos this week. Wow, wait, picked up 2 Recon 1 Tontos this week, too. Both Midway and Cold Steel websites have sales to encourage Cold Steel blade procurement. I have not seen this, and I'm in a Cold Steel way this week, so I should go take a look at it. I'm looking at the Cold Steels I have arrayed before me, and I got out everything that falls in this lineage. This, of course, is the Vaquero Grande. Before they were even calling them Voyagers, this is the Vaquero Grande, and this one has done so much work for me. And that 6-inch Vaquero style blade, this one I used to carry when I lived in New York City. I would carry this appendix style, and now when I think back on it, it terrifies me, because if I was ever busted carrying this in New York City, I'd still be at Rikers right now. Maybe I'd be a shot caller. Probably not. But a great knife. And I've got all my Vaqueros out here with me tonight. It's only 6, you know, but I hope to beef that up. It would be so cool if they would do, and I don't know why they haven't, do a Yatagan or a fixed blade Vaquero style knife. Why have they not done that? I'm sure they've thought of it. Craig Vincent says, my ESK is anything I'm carrying that is not an 80-10. Why? Why not an 80? Oh, because you're always carrying your 80-10, I think. Little ginger ale, so if I belch, please forgive me. Shadow the Dark, nice to have you here, Shadow. The Warcraft Medium Tonto is a tank. I have never gotten the Warcraft or any of them. Have they changed the Warcrafts a little bit? Do they now have like an FRN handle where they once had G10 or micarta? Is that right, or is this just a wrong intuition? Thickblackline.net. Good to have you here, Thick Black Line. Prather War Bowie, awesome. I love the Prather War Bowie. I have one myself, and it's wearing one of the best Kydex sheaths I've ever homemade made. Morgan Cones, thank you, man. I could be told that 100,000 times, and I'd still be like, what's that guy's name? Morgan Cones. Invited him on the show. He doesn't want to do it, and I totally get that. Some people are not so into talking about themselves, and I appreciate that. But the Prather War Bowie that I have wears one of the best Kydex sheaths I've ever made. A and B, it would be cool to do a Prather War Bowie with a fully sharpened back clip because it has such a nice clip. Addicted to Knives. I miss Lynn. You know, he just put out a cool video for, oh, help me. Who is it? It's this big game hunting outfit out of Alaska. And they have like a bull for their logo. And I've watched a couple of their videos about hunting, you know, just for vicariousness and different pistols to carry in the woods and that kind of thing. But they had Lynn Thompson on. I guess he's booked some hunting expeditions through this company. And he's there talking about his favorite 6 self-defense knives. Obviously, they're all cold steel. And it was cool. I love that guy, and I love seeing him talk about knives. Todd Carr says, fix my K-bar BK9 cold steel. I'm sorry, let me start from the top. Todd, first of all, nice to have you with us as always. He says, fixed blade, my K-bar BK9. So, okay, he's saying fixed blade for his ESK is his BK9. That is a cool one. Of course, that's the Bowie, right? That's the Bowie shaped one. Folder Cold Steel Formax. They always put a smile on my face. I just had my Formax out. It's a Formax Lite, or Formax Lite. I had that one out last night, and I was like, man, I never carry this. It is rather large. It's kind of a pocket hog, but what a great knife that is, man. Craig Vincent, coincidentally, Bob, I too got a new cold steel today. The 6.5-inch Razor Tech. Awesome knife. Razor Tech. What is that? Razor Tech. Is that the one with the replaceable blades? I thought that was smaller. Peterbilt Knife Guy. Hello from California. Peterbilt, I love your videos. It's great to have you here with us. And it's always shocking to see what's not creating giant holes like you just did one, the Walmart knife with D2. I think it was D2 steel. That was shocking. If you don't know, Peterbilt Knife Guy has this great series of videos, shorts, where he pounds with a hammer, pounds a knife through a nail on a billet of aluminum. And it's the same nail, same aluminum, same hammer, I think, every time. And it's to test the blade and the heat treat. And will it create a U-shaped divot, or will it barely be noticeable? And I have been shocked and amazed at what chips out, or what has that big U-shaped divot going around the nail, and what kind of snaps the nail. So I guess it can't be the same every time, but same nail. But I've been surprised. Let me put it that way. And I love what you're doing. Nice work, sir. And plus, that super sharp. What were you using? You had a super sharp. Okay, it was a Bark River knife, I think. That was really impressive how sharp you got that thing. Average mountain biker, nice to have you here, sir. How's it going? It's going great. How you doing? Was carrying my Magna Cut 940 and Shaman today. Very nice. That Shaman, of course, to me is the pick of the litter between the two. But of course, I have respect for the venerable 940. James Moore, nice to have you here, James. Happy almost Friday, everyone. That's right. Thursday night is basically Friday morning. Eventually. So yeah, here we are at the weekend. Split and Slices says, my favorite ESK is either my now discontinued Case Hobo knife. Oh, that's cool. So it's got the fork and the spoon, I think, or my traditional pocket knives, Appalachian Ridge Runner Slippy. That's also a beautiful one. Depends on which side of the pendulum I am located. Both can return to me. Both can return me to center. Very nice. I love traditional pocket knives and what they've been doing. 5-Door, nice to have you here, 5-Door. Greetings, Bob, Jim. Is that, every week I look at your avatar. Is that like a Citroen logo? Anyway, greetings, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. ESK is tough. I'll go Emerson Sachs. Oh my God, that's awesome. I love the Emerson Sachs. And with a collection like yours, that says a lot about the Emerson, I should say. Deep cuts in your collection. Paul Mills says, I have my lizard skin titanium Atom. Ooh, that sounds cool. And I love the Atom. And my transparent knives rebladed AD 20.5 and K390 today. Awesome. So I want to have him transparent knives. I would love to have him regrind this blade right here, as a matter of fact. He's been doing a lot of hinderers lately and just putting these wicked hollow grinds on them. He's so talented. And this one is kind of sharpened pry bar-ish, so I definitely would not mind. This is an old, I mean, this is probably over 10 years old, this XM24. This is from the very first generation of Bowies in the XM line, so nowhere even close to a tri-way pivot. But it is so cool, and that's part of what I like about it. So I might not have this done just because, why? Why? Am I out there slicing things and finding that this is not living up to the task? No, not really. Romeo Jr. Tupas. Nice to have you here, Romeo. Hello, Bob. Well, hello to you, sir. Greetings from Davao City, Philippines. Oh, my God. Cool. Nice to have you here, man. My emotional support knife is a Bastinelli Gecko and a Bally Song. Ooh, the Gecko. I like the Gecko. That's the, is that the short dagger? And now I don't remember exactly which one that is. But thank you. I think this is the first time that we've had someone from the Philippines at least comment. I'm not sure if you've watched before, but it's awesome to have you here, Romeo. Keep them coming, sir. El Cap Addict. Nice to have you here, El Cap. Hello, Bob, Jim, and everyone. Todd Carr, Byron K, Ron Crow, Paul Mills, Craig Vincent, Marco 5-Door, and everyone, he says. He's the kind of guy who walks into a party and he's like, hey, hey, hey. People throwing beers. He's like, ksh, ksh, hey. I like that. Nice to have you here. As is Byron. Byron always greets everyone too. Jay Demeter, nice to have you here, Jay. God, we got Hawaii, we got the Philippines, we have Australia. At some point, we might have Greece. Very, very cool. We have California. Man alive. We're just reaching all the time zones. Jay Demeter says, hello, Bob and gang. Well, hello to you, Jay. I hope you're doing well out there. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door. Good to have you with us. Good evening, Bob and Junkies. Today, I have my Spyderco Yo Jumbo 2. Yo Jumbo 2 in front of me and my Jack Wolf Vampire Jack. Love the Vampire Jack with dark matter red spear point. So first of all, that Vampire is just probably the most beautiful spear point blade out there, almost bar none. And I love the dark matter red. I have it on 2 of my Jack Wolf knives, and it's on my Venom Jack, my second release of the Venom Jack. And the bolsters are really dark blasted bolsters. The carbon fibers, the red matter, dark matter carbon fiber, and then the dark blade. Oh, it's so cool. It looks like it was dug. It looked like it was taken out of a grave, like from a different era. So cool. Archer, nice to have you here with us, Archer. Good Thursday night, everyone. Good Thursday night to you. I like your panoply there. It's very cool. On the Edge 72, nice to have you here, On the Edge. Hey, Bob, long time. Indeed, sir. You've changed your avatar, but the name is the same. It's great to have you back, man. Robert Strebin, good to have Robert Strebin with us. I see the lacrosse sticks. My younger daughter has taken up lacrosse, and she really likes it. Trying to get her a little more aggressive. Let's put it that way. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and all you junkies out there. Well, it's great to have you here, Robert. El Cap says, what is an ESK? Just got here. Emotional support knife. For instance, I'll show you my emotional support knife today, and this will come out in the pocket check later, was this. I didn't need it. This is the DC Blades Vendetta, and I've been carrying this one a lot because I love it. And today I had other things on me, but I wanted this just with me to offer emotional support in times of need, and it came up a bit today. So I was glad I had this. Other times I have large Bowie knives that are totally impractical for my day-to-day life, or other things that are just there for the emotional support. So ESK El Cap, that's what we're talking about. Shadow the Dark says, OG Blades is awesome. Finger red #1. Oh, okay, all right. That is the spelled out version of the pictogram. Gotcha. He's super awesome. Not just his channel and his collection, but as a man, he's tops for sure. James Hart says, I have an Eafengrow EF123. They are great knives. Now, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with Eafengrow, not this one for sure. This is beautiful, and I've never seen another knife that looks like this. But they do blatant copies. Like, I was just looking to look up the number of this. I saw that they had their own exact copy of the Strider SMF. Or maybe it was the SNG, but it looked exactly like this, and with a titanium handle for like $35. And yeah, just stick with your original designs. They're good enough. You don't have to rip other people off, but whatever. Jammin Parker says it's the mini version of their short sword. The Wyvern. Okay. Oh, nice. Long, slender, 11-inch blade, and a little bit of a curve on that, I think. Craig Vincent says, Eafengrow does a great job. I have a few of them. They really seem to. I mean, this is really like a solid quality knife. And by solid, I don't mean heavy. Though it does have some decent weight, but it's weighted nicely right around the forefinger. I don't want this to drop. So it's got good fighting knife balance. Though you could use this for all sorts of things, of course. And the other knives I've seen that have some very imaginative designs, but then they have some that are shockingly unimaginative, meaning ripoffs. But that seems to be mostly in their folding knife line. Though I did see one that looked like the 0452 or 0450 from Dmitry Sinkovich and Zero Tolerance in a fixed blade, which looked pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of that design. Adrian Fighter 35, nice to have you here, sir. Good evening, Jim, Bob, and Junkies. Good evening to you. I like your cross swords, your sword, your dagger, your kitchen, and then your waving. So anyway, nice to have you here. That picture of Mr. Simpson makes me feel the same way. Romeo says, Mabuhay, Bob. Mabuhay, greetings from Davao City. My ESK are Balisong, of course, and the Bastinelli Gecko. Very nice. The Balisong. So I want to go to Philippines someday. My dad was there maybe about 6 years ago. That's when he got me this bolo from a special Marine on a base that he was visiting, who made those, and that was cool. But I'd love to go down for many reasons, but chief among them, the martial and blade culture, just to check out. Donald Fry, nice to have you here, Donald. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Top of the evening to you. Well, top of the evening to you, sir. Speaking of top of the evening, we went to a great place not too long ago, a legit Irish restaurant, and man, I got the most delicious beef stew. This was last Friday. It was so good. And I was telling Jim, it's the kind of food you get in a medieval movie when you like roll into the inn and you sit down and they just put food in front of you. It was like this big bowl of it wasn't mutton, but it looked like it, just big chunks of meat and potatoes. Oh my God, it was so good. Archer says, good Thursday evening, everyone. Well, Archer, it's good to be with you and good to have you with us. Autumn Wind, nice to have Autumn Wind with us. Hello, Bob. Hello, all, he says. Hey to you, man. El Cap says they have multiple price levels for the Warcraft. The lowest is FRN and 4034 steel. Don't have them, but I like their 4034 steel. That's what I have my Natchez Bowie in. Now, granted, haven't gotten in any duels with that knife, and also I haven't done any like wood processing or anything like that. But I think the 4034 is going to do me just fine, especially when I don't need 3V. Now, I wouldn't want that on a knife like this. This is the SRK. Be right with you, Todd. This is the SRK, and you end up doing a lot of like woodwork kind of stuff with this. This is an old one made in the USA out of carbon V or carbon 5 steel. This is old. This is from 2006. I got this from my wife before she was my wife, when she was going over to London to live for a year to open up an office for the company she was working for. I built her the ultimate bug out bag and gave her this, which is probably supremely illegal in London, but it's not like she carried it around. But made in America. Man, it's been a long time since any cold steel has been made in America. But my point in that is that the 4034 seems to be a really good steel, but only for certain applications, I would imagine. I really actually don't know. But I know it's less expensive and vastly so than the 3V. I just like the way this looks. Todd Carr says, I'd be more inclined to buy Eafengrow if they stopped selling all the clones. I agree. I kind of feel the same way. When I was looking for the name of this knife, by the way, #knife will win you this knife, quite possibly. You don't have to be a gentleman junkie. You just have to be with us, and you just have to know how to type #knife in the comments, and this could be yours. We'll do this in about a half hour. I say that, but it'll probably be more like 40 minutes or so. We'll roll the magic wheel and see who wins this. But yeah, when I was looking up the name of this, I saw a lot of really cool fixed blades. I know I just said that like 3 minutes ago, so I'll drop it. James Hart says, yeah, I have the Cold Steel Magnum Warcraft Tonto. And yes, the handles are now Grivery, but they are replaceable. Okay, that's what I thought. It's a full tang, unlike some knives like this. This was my very first cold steel. My very first expensive knife. I remember this cost $115 when I got it in 1987 or 88, something like that. I was in high school, and I think I must have been about 16 because I drove myself to the Randall Park Mall. It was the biggest mall in all the world for a short period of time. Now it's, man, it was weird. It was totally abandoned for years, and I saw some very eerie pictures from inside. Anyway, they had a store called Remington, and they sold all sorts of knives, and they had this there. And my friend had told me all about it. CIA uses it. It can punch through a car door, all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. Looks, it's like a little mini samurai sword. So this has been by my bedside ever since then. No matter where I've lived, no matter what the situation, this has always been at my bedside. And here it is, right here. So unlike this, which is not a full tang, it's got a tang all the way down to here. I believe it's a rat tail tang with a screw in the pommel. But that Warcraft is a true full tang, and I would like to get one. I must admit, I need to kind of, I've done all the cold steel. I need to kind of come back to the Tontos, where it all started for me and for them. Craig Vincent says, I got bored last night and counted the cold steels I currently own. Oh, dude, 131. It was higher last year, but I had to share the love. Craig Vincent, my Lord, I stand humbled. I might have to do something about this. I have a lot of cold steels, but I don't think I have nearly, I know I don't have nearly 131. I don't even think I have 100 cold steels, not even 100. No, but I have a lot of them. Including I have one sword and bunch of machete, or a couple of machetes and some other stuff. But it looks like I need to get off my duff and check out that Midway sale. On the Edge 72 says, I still have my original Recon 1 from 17 years ago or so. Oh, awesome. Just looked at it yesterday. Now, what was the steel they were using then? Because you can buy one now. I think you can get one in 3V for a lot, but you can also just get a Recon 1 Tanto. It's a Recon Tanto with the 7-inch blade and the same sort of grivery handle. You can get one for like $40 on Amazon right now, if you don't mind whatever the steel is that they use, and it's going to be awesome. They do great heat treats on the most marginal steels, OS 8 for years and years and years. They did it better than anyone else and got great results. Ouchie EDC, nice to have you here with us, Ouchie. Howdy, he says. Well, howdy to you, good sir. Gaston Garcia, nice to have you here with us, Gaston. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. It's great to join you live. Well, it's great to have you here with us live. Have a Knife Day says the BK9 is the clip point. I have one. Yes, that is your emotional support knife. I thought you said, or are you carrying that today? Yeah, that's a beauty. Oh, no, that was someone else. Okay, you're chiming in to affirm what I was saying. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Becker, any Becker. I don't have any of those knives. Ed says, hello, Ed. Nice to have you here with us, man. Let's see, Richard Cheeto and the Lounge Against the Machine. Cheeto with the ever-changing name. I appreciate you, man, and your designs. What up, Bob and the gang? Carrying an Emerson Tactical Quaken and the White River M1. Very nice. That White River is awesome, and you know how I feel about anything Emerson. Tactical Quaken. I think I know which one that is. Different from the P-Tac, different from the Persian, but it has a wave and a different handle. That is a sweet knife. Adrian Fighter 35 says, my emotional support knife lately is my Raja 2 when I'm at work and my cold steel Marauder serrated while I'm walking around the house. Nice. Man's got to have his standards. In case I'm attacked by a big cardboard box. That's right. That's right. Hey, I mean, I get it. I do not, unless I'm in bed, I am never without a knife here. Whether I'm in my jammies or in, walking out the door, whatever it is, never, ever without at least one knife. But I have learned, but not the hard way, not the painful way. Thank the Lord that you just got to make sure you take it out of your pocket before you get in bed. There have been a few times in the past, years gone by, where I've awakened and I've had a knife in my pocket, in my pajama pocket pants. That's why it helps to have something a little heavier so you don't forget it's there. And I've thought, oh my God, what if this came out and opened up and killed me, or heaven forbid, my wife? I mean, geez, just cut us. How terrible would that be? So yeah, just make sure that you take it out of your pocket before you get into bed. Jason Garcia says, favorite emotional support knife, the Recon 1 Spear Point. Yes, I love the Recon 1, and I've never had the Spear Point, but I've admired it from afar. It is a beautiful looking spear point. For harder emotional support, my 810 Contigo. I like that. Harder emotional support. Yes, I know what you mean. Oh, I don't have it out. There are a couple of, right here. This Laredo Bowie was I needed some pretty hard emotional support last week at work. As a matter of fact, I even did a short featuring this. I love this thing. This is a pretty old one for me too. I got this probably going on 20 years. Well, at least 16 years, because I was in New York when I got this, I remember. Very cool. This one with the faux Cocobolo handle always had that little crack right there. See that? And this was back in the day when returning things was not as easy as, and I don't think I got this from Amazon. I must have gotten this from Knife Center. I was like, how in the world am I going to, I'll just make this mine. I patinaed there was scratches on the blade from this sheath, drawn it in and out, I think against the back of this stud. So I just patinaed the blade with white vinegar. I can't even remember what, this is made in Taiwan, and can't really see what the blade steel was. But whatever it was, it patinaed nicely, and it's always looked like an old kind of knife to me. Love this thing. This, to quote Mr. Garcia, this is my harder emotional support knife. Yeah. Ouchie EDC says, I'm so ready for Friday. So am I. We have a long weekend, at least where I work. Long weekend, and I'll be spending it with 968 volleyball teams on 154 courts. Yeah, it's gonna be so loud and awesome. Okay. Todd Carr says Razor Tech is one of the new ones GSM released when they took over Cold Steel. Original release wasn't looked upon very well due to the big downgrade in materials and much higher price on release. Okay, so the Razor Tech, now that I'm thinking of it, that's the recurve. It's got the jimping. It's a full tang. Yep. It's got kind of an exposed thumb ramp area. Edgy American Blades. Nice to have you here. This is Shane with us. Hey, guys, he says. Good to have you, man. I love Shane. He's the best. It's great to have you here with us. Shane and I have had some awesome conversations, both in person and over the telefono, and actually on the show here once. And he's a great dude. You got to check him out on his YouTube channel, where you can watch him, follow him making knives. Pretty cool. Mike Hauser says, my ESK is the beat up old concert t-shirt the wife keeps trying to throw away. No, that's Golden Boy. Kershaw Kenyon Leak, just an old friend. Is like, okay. My ESK is like a beat up old concert t-shirt the wife keeps trying to throw away. Right. Still Golden Boy. I don't know if you know that reference, but Kershaw Kenyon Leak, just an old friend. That's awesome. I love that. My Leak, I think my wife owns My Leak now. But what a great knife. I love that thing. What a beautiful blade. And that's been so popular for so long, way predating the current and recent Wharncliffe trend. You know, I really like it. Let me finish this. Kept the burping at bay. Randall S., nice to have you here, Randall. Greetings from Western North Carolina. Beautiful country. Good to have you here from Western North Kakalaki. Sorry if that offends you the way I just said that. I've heard, I knew some North Carolinians who would say that as a joke. Gaston says, for family events where ESK is needed, I just got a black PM2 with DLC S45VN. Very nice. Okay, so Stasa just got a new military, not the paramilitary, but got the new military with crew wear. And I was like, man, why have I never gotten a military too? Just too many knives and too much money to pay for all these knives. But pardon me. And I don't carry my military enough to justify getting a military too, but I want a military too with the compression lock and the clip in the right orientation and all that. I'll even take it in S30V, man. Loot 10 text. Nice to have you here, Loot. What's the word, Angelo? I know Angelo is in the. He's not misnaming me. I know that Angelo is in the comments, but I'll do that anyway. American Father, nice to have you here, an American Father. Hello, friends, he says. Well, hello to you, man. Always good to have you here with us. Robert Strebin says, my EMS knife is nothing big, but man, I love it. I think he meant ESK, unless you are an emergency medical server. It's a Victorinox Navy camouflage Huntsman with a Navy camouflage clip. Oh, that sounds cool. I love Navy camouflage if I'm thinking of the right thing. It's like blue and gray and white kind of. That sounds awesome. And I have no Victorinox knives with clips, though I do like those little dangler clips you can buy. Shadow the Dark says, my fiance ordered me, she's a keeper. My fiance ordered me a Tour Darter Vapor for Valentine's Day. That's awesome, man. So when that arrives, it will be my new ESK. Yes, indeed. And it will not only be a cool knife for sure, but it'll also be imbued with all this meaning and sentimentality. And you will never, ever be allowed to get rid of it. So there you go. Nicely done. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here, Benedict. Little late, but I made it. Howdy, all. Hey, don't even apologize, man. I've got Bolivians in the family. Lateness is not an issue here. Craig Vincent says, Bob, the Razor Tech is a bushcrafty fixed blade with tactical design nuances. Yes. That's that's a really that's a really great definition, because it does have tactical nuances. I would say, especially in the front finger choil thumb ramp area. 1025 EDC, good to have you here. 1020, I'll say 1025 EDC. Nice to have you here. Hey, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Current ESK, large Sebenza 31 in Magna Cut. Nice, nicely done. Now, does the Sebenza 31 have the same very sharp, pointed thumb studs? That's the one thing about my Sebenza, that with a very sensitive thumb with nerve damage, that it depends on the day, but some days I cannot carry the Sebenza for that reason. It's just no comfortable way to open it except two-handed, because I haven't replaced the pointy thumb studs. I have to do that. But tell me, does the 31 have those same Sebenza 21 thumb studs? I'm curious. Have a Knife Day says, to the gym, I carry my Benchmade Adamas in crew wear with VEF serrations. That is so cool. I love the Adamas. I love Sibbert Designs, period. Follow him on Instagram. Do yourself a favor. His custom fixed blade knives are just Shane Sibbert. Oh my God. His custom fixed blade knives are to die for, I swear. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So I think all of his designs are awesome. Edgy American Blade says, my ESK is my Hogue Deca, gifted to me by Jason Brown, who inspired me to make knives. That's so cool. Hashtag be up. That's awesome. And the Hogue Deca is a nice knife, man. I especially am fond of, actually, I don't know if I could even choose. Their Warncliffy one is really cool looking, and they do a perfect clip point blade. And so I think either way you go with the Hogue Deca, you've got a great blade. On the Edge 72 says, sorry I've been away so long. Life got hectic with 2 kids under 5. Hey, man, I've been there. And I took a break from YouTube. I'm making YouTube videos again. Need to send you a sticker. Please do. I'd love to have a sticker, and I need to make sure that I'm still subbed to you. I don't know if this happens to all out there, but I get unsubbed from people without my trying, and that is really effing annoying, because it makes me feel like YouTube is making decisions on my behalf. Oh, you don't want to look at them. They have dangerous products on there. Anyway, glad to have you back on the Edge 72, and no need ever to apologize. You are not a prodigal son, sir. You are just back, and it's great to have you. And you got to take care of what you got to take care of. That's for damn sure. Ron Dobbins, nice to have you here, man. What's up, everyone? He says, Ron, we're doing great. I hope you're doing well on this first night of the weekend. Ken Reed, good to have you here. Ken Reed, excuse me. Whew, favorite ESK, Rosecraft Bowfin. Oh, that's a cool one. That's that big kind of, well, it's a big folder, and it reminds me a little bit of a barong, I believe. And the Microtech MSI, lots of fidget factor with both. Now, that's how the ESK started for me, was fidget factor. Like I need to fidget for emotional support. And then eventually it's just like, well, I just, emotional support comes in lots of different guises. Either you're flipping it, or you're just knowing it's there, or you're drawing it out in your car and checking it out, or whatever. Whatever gives you that emotional support. But originally it started for me as fidget. El Cap Addict says, then my ESK is probably a Cold Steel Black Talon 2 from Jimmy Slash. Oh, so cool. I remember you mentioned carrying a Black Talon in your coat's chest pocket. Yep. I did this a few winters in a row where I would, that's cool that you remember that. I would switch the clip to the other side because the inside pocket was on the left, and you could just draw it. It opens up. Thank God I never needed to use it in the way I had it set up. Adrian Fighter 35 says, love the Razor Tech 5-inch model. Serves me very well. Sharpens up way easy and holds a decent edge. Okay, all right, Adrian. I've been very resistant to the pre-GSM designs. I've gotten a lot of pre-GSM cold steel builds, but I haven't gotten the Mayhem. I wouldn't mind having the Mayhem, but I feel like I'm not as drawn to it. Therefore, it's kind of not worth the money, though I would like to have it. Or any of the other post GSM designs. That will probably change with this model year because they're coming out with some really cool stuff. But maybe hearing you say that, maybe I'll try that. I'll try that because I'm pretty sure that came out after the sale. And I need to not live in the past. The past is good, but so is Ryan Johnson. Thank you. Let's see. Have a Knife Day says, I purchased my first tactical tomahawk from RMJ Tactical, and it's the Shrike. I'll be buried with that tomahawk in 100 years because this is a very healthy and stout-hearted man. I also own their Gladius sword. Yes. Enjoy talking to Ryan Johnson. Thank you. Ryan Johnson, he's brilliant. He's like a mad scientist. Before I continue and before we get to the pocket check, I just want to remind people that this is a random giveaway knife for tonight. This is on offer to anyone in the comments who can type #knife. Just put it in the comment section and this sucker will be yours. Well, it could be yours, I should say. It will go into the random number generating hopper in about 20 minutes, and we'll figure out who. Let's see, how many people. Only less than half of you have put #knife in the comments. So please put #knife in the comments because I want to send this to you. I do. Every day that this cool knife lives over on that shelf, it comes closer to ending up in one of my drawers, and I can't let that happen because I need to share the wealth. That's the point. You know, Dave of OG Blade Reviews doesn't send me boxes of kick-ass knives just for me to enjoy. Now, truth be told, I will adopt one or two here and there. Okay, one out of every box, but I can't do them all. I can't own them all. I have to send them along, and this one is so cool. It reminds me a little bit of, I know, the references, it doesn't even look like it, but this giant choil reminds me a little bit of, hey, Bennett, let's party. Just a little bit, but very cool knife. So #knife in the comments. Jim, you had, hey, Pete Davidson. Good day, boys and girls. Pete, always a pleasure. How's it hanging? My favorite emotional support knife has to be, just pushing down that mortal sin of envy, has to be my Bagwell Gambler from Ontario. It always brings me a smile to my face and a tingle to my undercarriage. God, I'm going through severe Bagwell envy these days. I love Bill Bagwell knives. I've been watching a lot of Rolando Escudado videos, and he's got an incredible, he had a relationship with him. He would have knives made especially for him by Bill Bagwell. Like, I am so into his beautiful knives. And here Pete comes on just to rub it in my face. Here, take that. Okay. I appreciate you, man. And I don't envy you, but I'm jealous. There's a difference. One will land you in hell. The other one, purgatory, let's say. Shane says the new owner claim that they're no longer making clones, but are still selling new old inventory. Okay, you're talking about Eafengrow. Okay, well, you know, maybe you should be careful about where you sell it. Maybe you keep all the clones on Alibaba, just because that's more of a thing there, and keep them off of Amazon. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. But thank you for the explanation. We appreciate it. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I could be wrong, but I think Eafengrow is or was owned by CH Knives. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I have had a CH knife in here. Also, I think one that Dave sent, and I do remember it being pretty damn awesome. And I actually do know that I was pretty surprised by how great this knife seems to be. And I say seems to be because I haven't done anything with it, but so you could be right about that. Ron Dobbins says, the Knife Junkie, I am going to get a Dan Caraher knife. And have you seen them? Yes, I have. But as you can tell from my furrowed brow, I can't remember Dan Caraher. I'm going to have to look him up, or maybe Jim could look him up at some point tonight. But is he some sort of a military? Dan Caraher. Now the more I say it, the less I'm confident. But when I saw the name, it awakened, so it stirred something in my soul. Stephen Roberts, nice to have you here, Steve. What's up, all? Just a reminder to you all with lady friends, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Before we get too far into this rabbit hole, Steve is right. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And Bob, are you from Cleveland? Well, yeah. First of all, let me just finish real quick. Steve, always an awesome pleasure. Steve lives right around the corner, so it's always cool to know he's over there watching right now, perhaps with a drink in hand. Cheers, sir. This is empty, but it wasn't before. Ron Crow, are you from Cleveland? I am from the suburbs thereof, sir. Yes, indeed. Are you? Oh, Dan Caraher. Thank you, Jim. Oh, my God. That is beautiful. Look at that. Damn, look at that blade. That is very nice. Let us know when you get that. I'd love to find out what model you got so we can look it up and see kind of exactly what you got. And Crow, yes, indeed, sir. James Hart says, I have a Recon Tonto and I bought back in the mid 80s, also made in USA out of carbon 5 steel. The mid 80s. Wait, does it look like this, or does it have the current handle? The current Recon handle, the one that doesn't have the butt cap. I'm just curious. Shane says, I used to say, if it's not a cold steel, is it even a Tonto? Hey, man, I agree, because, he basically invented the American Tonto, he being Lynn Thompson. Cold Steel's budget steel heat treats are better than their high-end steels, but they're all about tough. Wait. Cold Steel's budget steel heat treats are better than their high-end steels, but they're all about tough. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, like I said before, the AUS 8, and then also the 4116 Krups, which is a super cheap steel, was so nice, man. Is so nice. I don't think they use that anymore, but I still have it on my Roach Belly, and that's been going for years. Cicero, nice to have you here, Cicero. You son of a bitch. That's what it says in your avatar there. Nerds, geeks, beautiful freaks. You've come to the right place, man. How'd you know? Craig Vincent says, I've only been collecting cold steels for less than 2 years. Plus, I had to mix it up with Spydercos and Demcos and Eafengrows. Oh, man. Beautiful rhyme, beautiful poetry. Sword XXY. My ESK is an Ontario Bagwell Gambler. It lives on the nightstand. Oh, my God. If you guys don't know who Bill Bagwell was, you got to look up his knives. I mean, just do a Google image search or whatever search engine you use. And he's one of the founding members of the American Bladesmith Society. And he was he died in like he died somewhat recently. But he just made incredible fighting Bowie knives. Bowie knives were his thing. And man alive, he really knew what he was doing. And they are gorgeous. And apparently, and I've only held one at Blade Show. I was like, I'm not buying it, but can I please? And they're like, sure, go ahead. And I didn't swing it around, but you can just feel, oh my gosh, it feels amazing in hand. So yeah, go check them out. Do yourself a favor. Bill Bagwell. Edgy American Blade says, I actually used my Hogue RSK1 recently. Oh, cool. Oh my God, in self-defense, you really never know. I'd be interested, Shane, if you want to share here, please do. However much you want to. I would love, because we talk all the time about that scenario, but I'm sure for most of us, it's never come up. You can be as vague or as detailed as you'd like, or just not comfortable talking about it at all. I get it, but the RSK one, damn, is that the fixed blade? Or is that no, that's the RSK 5, I think. Man alive. I'd be interested to find out what happened there. Over under pull. Nice to have you here, sir. Good evening. Good evening to you. Carrying the CQC 4K from Kershaw. That's an awesome knife. I had that one, and the 6K. That was cool too. And they have the 10K, I believe, CTC 10K. All of those Kershaw Emerson collaborations are awesome. Just as the ZT cold steel, or I mean, just as the ZT Emerson collaborations were also awesome. All Kai collaborations. Jesse, nice to have you here, Jesse. Evening all, he says. Evening to you, Jesse. Have you heard? Hashtag knife in the comments will get you this beautiful Eafengrow EF123. Is it a fighter? Is it a utility knife? Yes. Adrian Fighter 35 says, Golden Boy, good Seinfeld reference. Thank you, sir. You are a man of a certain age. My Stephen Roberts says, is quoting me, my wife owns my leak now. Same, with a laugh. That's funny. Yes. Yes, she owns my leak. Jammin Parker says, some ESK honorable mentions, Work Tough Gear, Atayal. Oh, that's beautiful. I think they just released a new run of that, or they're about to, because I've been seeing Scab talk about it a lot. The Scallywag Tack Gunner's Mate, the Bastinelli Separateur, woof, and the Dawson J-Car Bowie. Deep cut on the Dawson. I love the Bastinelli Separateur. I had that on loan for a while from a friend of mine. That Scallywag, they have a lot of cool designs, but I'm not sure which one the Gunner's Mate is. Yes, I concur with all of those, Jammin. Gaston Garcia says, emotional support knife is the most powerful concept I've adopted from this great channel. Why, thank you, sir. I totally embrace the concept daily. Well, thank you. It's self-care is important. Self-care is community care, really. Because if you don't take care of yourself, the community will be bummed about it. Pete Davidson said, I would have bought a military too, but the Police 4, after a slight modification, fills all of my needs, and the back lock works better for my left-handedness. I totally hear that. What are the slight modifications? I'm curious. We have Mike from Northern Knives. Good to have you here, sir. Hey, all, he says. Everyone hit that thumbs up. I couldn't concur more soundly. I couldn't agree more completely. Please hit that thumbs up. It costs you nothing. Scott Bollinger, nice to have you here, Scott. Along with my Beckwith Covert, an excellent knife, in my right front pocket, I've been carrying my stainless steel serrated cold Spyderco. Everything's cold steel right now. Stainless steel serrated Spyderco Police, which was, Scott, in its older form, in its like mid 90s form, it was the first like folding knife. I was like, whoa. I saw a guy who worked at a bike store, had one, and I already thought he was cool. I was like, yeah, man, when I'm a little bit older, I want to be like this guy. And he pulled out one of those and cut a bike tire or some shit with it and then put it back in his pocket. And I was like, what was that all about? And yeah, I love the Police model. I've never owned one. And two people in a row just talking about the Police. I think this means I should get one. I like the stainless steel serrated. That's what I would go for. Full serrated stainless model, just because that's kind of the one that really sent me around the moon in Philly so many years ago. 1025 EDC says the thumb studs are the same on the 31 as the 21, unfortunately. Love this channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Bob and Jim are the best. Thank you, 1025 EDC. I kind of feel like you're the best for saying that, so thank you. Appreciate it. Ryan Lynch, nice to have you here, you sharp gentleman. You didn't have to dress up for this affair, but it's nice that you did. Current ESK is the Giant Mouse Grand. Black micarta with black Magna Cut blade. Black on black, like my soul. Excellent. I really love Giant Mouse designs. I can't believe that Jesper Voxnez is leaving Giant Mouse. He's 1/3, I guess, technically, but design-wise, he's so clearly one half of that company. It seems weird. Shanara, nice to have you here, Shanara. Nice collection of knives and swords on your wall. Are they real? Yes, they are all real. This one might be a Fugazi, but this Confederate Bowie. My brother's gotten me a number of these actually. Yep, they're all real. We can't really figure out the lineage of this one, but it's a really good fake if it's fake. And then everything else is, oh, okay. And then these here are not, they're not old. These are not antiques. These are from traditional Filipino weapons, which is an awesome company make. And these are like real in terms of, yeah, you could carry these into battle for all day long, and they're really sound fighting knives. But the rest of these are historical artifacts. Oh. And then this one, sorry, just got to point it out. This was my grandpa's hunting knife, and it's like a marbles, but it's not a marbles. It's a Camillus, and it says 1937 on the sheath. He etched it in his initials. Angry Tom says, I ordered the new Rosecraft Ocoee. I never know how to pronounce this. River. That's the kayak. So it's kind of like a canoe, but a different blade, and with that cool angle down of the blade. I have one of those. But this from TBK, they're coming out with a couple of really cool handle options here. With the chocolate leather slip that was my emotional support for today, made me feel much better. Yes, sometimes an emotional support knife does take the shape of a small slip joint, something you can just hold in your hand like a worry stone. Edgy American, $5. Thank you, man. I so appreciate that. Bob, you should do a I just like knowing it's there episode for the knives we love but never carry or use. That's kind of what we're doing right here. It's an emotional support kind of knife. I need to salute you. And I think I'll do it with this. And I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm pretty sure that this is exactly the kind of Bowie knife that Shane does not like shape-wise, but it's a great knife. And I have to salute you with something big. And everything on the table here is a clip point tonight, oddly enough, except for the Jimmy Slash chopper. So I salute you, man. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Here's your swim by. It's like a great white shark swimming by. You know what I mean? Nice big belly. I love this thing. Cleans up nicely, too. Sheath is a bit large, though. I just like knowing it's there, Shane. I've never really used it. I've used it to baton wood, so totally unnecessary use, but it works well. Have a Knife Day says, have you seen the new issue of Blade magazine? No, I haven't. It's an M4 bayonet. Oh, cool. Which uses steel and handle material from the battleship Texas. I wonder if this came out of, 2 years ago when I was at the Texas Custom Blade Show, there was something happening where there was a bunch of steel harvested from that battleship, and people were making knives out of it. I wonder if that's the same thing. I realize we're an hour and 3 minutes into it, haven't given away the knife yet, and I haven't even done a pocket check. So after I greet Michael Young and say, Michael, it's awesome to oh, dude. Sorry, you just lost me. Not lost me, you just got me gobsmacked. I love dark timber knives. Michael Young, good to have you here. His ESK is the Dark Timber OG Grizzly with Positive Made Leathercraft sheath. I think I've heard of Positive Made, but I know I love dark timber knives. Oh my God. He's a cool dude too. Want to have him on the show. He was like, yeah, I'd love to come on your show. And I'm like, yeah, but first you got to respond to my emails. That's how it works. But such a cool dude. And he's got like this bevy of foxes that surround him. At least he did at last Blade show. And he was just with all these cool knives. It's the life. Anyway, that said, let's get to a pocket check. Today, in my front right pocket, I have the Cold Steel SR1 Light. Now, this is a rare one, and not rare like they're a dime a dozen, but it's rare that I will carry this one. But I don't know. It just got in my soul last night. I had a bunch of Cold Steel knives right next to my while I was viewing with my wife while doing some spinning. Actually, we watched a little bit of Sisu. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, trust me, you'll love it. And I had this one next to me, so I carried this today, put it in the pocket today. and it is wickedly sharp. I haven't used it for anything, but I cut open some pasta packages, or pasta and rice packages in the past couple of days with this. It's very, very sharp. Quite an oblique blade, but it doesn't matter. It's like a wickedly sharp pry bar in a way. In my back left pocket, I had the new and awesome Jack Wolf Knives Primo Jack. This is the folding, locking, bolster lock version of the Big Bro Jack. And the Big Bro Jack and the Little Bro, there are all these sleeve board. Well, the Big Bro and the Little Bro are slip joints, and they're all sleeve board pattern boys knife style knives with the clip point, and in this case, the hand rub satin, the beautiful S90V. This is just a a workhorse. What can I say? I mean, you could probably use this for a lot more than I do. As a matter of fact, I know you could. But when I say workhorse, this is the one I'm most apt to pull out if it's on me. I've only had this for less than a week, but these style of knives, these Jack Wolf knives, they're on me a lot, and they are what I tend to pull out, especially at work for stuff. This, I mean, I would just as easily pull that out. I'm not afraid. Everyone knows who I am at work, but this is just a great little knife and so sharp. And I love that they brought back micarta into the Jack Wolf Knives fray. It's just such a nice looking knife. Great action. They do take a little break in, I've found. This one will fall shut soon enough, but it's not falling shut quite yet. I was going to say sheath blade. My fixed blade knife today was the Armis Knife and Tool VSK1. I've been loving this thing, carrying it nonstop. I love this thing. It feels so comfortable in hand. I did a great interview, had an awesome conversation with Michael Grasso, the man behind this American company. All of his knives are made in Connecticut, in his shop, and they are awesome. They are really awesome. Actually, he's also the guy, well, great ambidextrous sheath, a la Tracker Dan, a la Offensive Industries. And he made this, I showed this off last week, for travel. So really what you buy, you buy the sheath. It's like $45. It's an amazing ambidextrous sheath, and it's set up to accept any sort of run-of-the-mill grocery store cheap paring knife. So the idea is you fly to Massachusetts or wherever, and you can't bring your knife with you, or you don't want to bring your knife with you. So you bring the sheath, and you stop by a grocery store when you land. You get a cheapo paring knife, keep this on you for self-defense and whatever else you need it for. And then when you leave, you donate it to a homeless guy or something like that. Everyone needs a knife, right? And so I think it's a great idea. I love it. I love the sheath. And turns out I really like Michael Grasso too. What an awesome, nice guy, and very interesting story. Introduced to him by Dave of OG Blade Reviews, who did the first video I saw on this knife. That's who he's who got me interested in the knife in the first place. So check out his video, check out my video forthcoming, and yeah, love that knife. So be sure to check out Armis Knife and Tool. My emotional support knife today, as I showed you before, is the DC Blades Vendetta. Been carrying this thing every day in one roll or another since I got it. It's done a lot of front right pocket time and a lot of back left pocket. And today it was just around. It was on my desk mostly, hiding under a notebook. Yes, I don't keep it right out where people can see it, but offering emotional support during those bleak existential crisis moments that I had today. And I was like, yeah, it's all worth it. Look at this. You got a great pocket catch here. Beautiful silver foil carbon fiber and micro milled titanium handle with incredible ergonomics and an M390 Hawkbill blade that, you know what it's made for. So this is what I had on me today. I know you're going to tell me what you had on you. I want to do that. But before we do anything else, I feel it's my responsibility to give away this Eafengrow because it's been sitting here. I've been talking about it all night, and I always let the time get away from me. So who wants to win this knife? Let's see. How many people have put their name? I think still about half of the people here have put their name in for this. Maybe it's on silent. Maybe they have it muted and they can't tell what I'm saying, and they're just here to look at me talk. And they don't know that this knife is for giveaway. So I urge them strongly to just unmute for just a second so that you know all you got to do in the next 1 minute, 60 seconds, doesn't take that long. Just put #knife in the comments. And this beautiful Fixed Blade Eafengrow 123. Oh, by the way, that's 14C28N. Let me put it under the knife cam. 14C28N. This is contoured G10. You've got a nice guard here. You've got balance right here at the forefinger. So balanced like a fighting knife. You got great jimping here for your Filipino grip or anything else you're going to be using it for. Look at it in that aspect. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful blade. I love the choil. And you don't hear me say that too much, but I like what the choil does for the design. I think this is a looker. And to me, that counts for a lot. But yeah, this is it. And then you've got a really nice Kydex sheath with a Tech-Lock style. Is this a Tech-Lock style or a Tech-Lock? No, Tech-Lock style belt attachment. Say you don't like the knife. You could win the knife, take off the Tech-Lock, keep it for something else, and then give the knife away to someone else and look like a great guy or gal. Or you could sell it, maybe, I don't know. Lately, selling knives is not so easy for me. Not in the getting rid of it. I'm trying to sell knives, try to get rid of knives. No one's buying, at least not my knives. So let's see how many people are signed up. 53 entries. All right. That's pretty good. Little over what we had earlier. So what do you say, Jim? Let's do this. Let's bring up the wheel and see which one of these 53 people get this beautiful Eafengrow EF123 in 3, 2, and 1. It's always a surprise. It always does a little teasing. And it ends up that On the Edge 72 is the winner. On the Edge 72. See what happens when you come back. You're a winner, man. I'm glad to be sending this to you. Please send me your address to the Knife Junkie. Send it to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com, and I will get this out to you. I'm going to be honest, it's going to be Tuesday. Tomorrow is super busy, and I'm pretty sure I won't be able to get this in the mail to you until Tuesday. But happy to do it. I'm so glad you won this. So please, again, send me that address. And then to everyone else who came close, Shanara, I saw that you were almost the winner, like stopped on your name. It does that every time, like stops on a name and then it clicks over to the next one. Do check in. We've been doing a lot of these because I have generous friends, chief among them, Dave of OG Blade Reviews. And I've got a lot of knives to give away. So this is the best format to do it in. Is that right? Yeah, it's the best show, the best way for me to get them out to you. So come join us every week. Northern Knives says, I always carry my Combat Troodon ESK. Oh, very nice. Not the most practical knife, but I think they round out the collection nicely. Well, Troodons, plural. Very nice. I agree with you, but that's the whole thing about ESKs. They don't have to be practical. As a matter of fact, it's almost like the less practical, the better in some regards. Michael Upchurch, nice to have you here, Michael. Hi, guys, he says. Well, hello to you, man. Like, here's one that's not terrifically practical, but super cool. This hasn't been an ESK recently, but it will be because I've been seeing a lot of people doing videos on theirs lately. That's the Jimmy Slash chopper from Cold Steel. Man, it is wicked. It is a wicked blade. Pete Davidson says, hey, Bob, why don't you commission one of your fancy pants knife-making buddies to make you a Bagwell? Oh, Pete, I'm ahead of you there, Pete. I'm sure someone like, I'm ahead of you, man, could pull it off. Tee-hee. Imagine a T-Kel Bagwell. That would be cool too, man. That's interesting. It's interesting you should say that, because I've had that thought and I have acted on that thought. But it will be quite a while until things come to fruition. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tease it anymore until it comes back. But that's what I'm doing. And it's a tribute knife. It's not going to be a copy or anything. It's a tribute knife. This thing. The one problem, no point, but I mean, that is the point. These are choppers for competition, and Jimmy Slash, awesome guy, has done a lot of blade sports stuff, so he designed this knife for cold steel. Jacob Green says, my emotional support knife is a Schrade USA LB7 I inherited from my grandfather after he died. Wow, that's awesome. It's over 50 years old and still works like new. Yeah, the USA Schrades, man. I'm not sure what the LB7 is. Is that a fixed blade or is that a slip joint or something? But yeah, that's cool. And then, of course, the fact that it's your grandfather's knife, or was your grandfather's knife, is so cool. Pete Davidson, they took away our guns, but they will never take away my Bowie. Hell no. I can't believe they yeah, Australia is such a independent kind of minded country. Reminds me of America in a lot of ways, and I can't believe they did that. Ron Crow, I grew up in Cleveland and last lived on Green Road. Wow, just up the hill from Euclid Avenue. I know. I used to hang out at Coventry when I was a high schooler. I'm familiar with that area. I used to go to Randall Park Mall, and I saw Star Wars when it first came out. We ended up moving to Eastlake. Very nice, man. Yeah. So I'm pretty familiar where I used to eat at the Mad Greek over there, and then would hang out at Arabica and Coventry and that area. And when I fancied my, when I hung out with the punkers and the hippies and such, that's cool. Green Road. I was just thinking of, well, anyway, I just saw that movie where Danny Green gets blown up on Brainerd Road. But that's a different story. Anyway, Ron, Mr. Crow, awesome. Thanks for bringing that up. Cold Steel Collector 808. Look at what I got, Cold Steel Collector 808. Aloha, junkies. Sorry I'm late. Hey, man, late is better than never. So believe it or not, I never had one of these. So I'm going to show you all of them. There's my Vaquero Grande. Colby Overhagen, nice to have you here, sir. Did Tangram Knives go out of business? You know what? So Tangram Knives was a super budget super budget brand from Kaiser. And they came out with like 3 or 4 knives. And one of them was a Pinkerton, Warncliffe, and they just sort of went away. So yeah, I think so. But I think you can still get old new stock on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. The Santa Fe was the one I ended up keeping. I loved the Santa Fe. And now I wish I didn't get rid of the Pinkerton. I can't remember what the Pinkerton one was called. Looked a lot like the Santa Fe, kind of a Warncliffe flipper. But I love Dirk's work, and he's such an awesome dude. I wish I kept that knife. So here are all of my Vaqueros. Here's the El Hombre. This one I EDC'd for a couple of years. And this one to me has the most extreme of all the blades. It just has such a low dip and a low point. It's so nasty. It still has a stain on there. Where is it? Yeah, it still has a stain up towards the tip where I was on a camping trip with an ex-girlfriend, and she was an amazing cook, but also a vegan. And you're like, how do those two things go together? It's true, they can go together. And I cut some tofu lin with this, and tofu lin is like a marinated tofu, and you can eat it right out of the package. It tastes like bologna. Pretty good. But it stained this blade, and I was like, what the hell am I eating? But anyway, I love this knife, and I love this whole series of Yatagan inspired knives. But the one that I was missing is this, just the simple, yes, I have the signature version, but I was missing just the simple serrated version of this knife, the one that Lynn Thompson himself, he always has 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 of these on him all the time, in addition to everything else he's got. A gun, probably a Bowie knife in there somewhere, and definitely the 7-inch Espada. I mean, he carries a lot of knives, but he always has 3 of these, and they're all business. And he claims, and I'm sure I believe him, that the serrations cut 3 times deeper than the non-serrations, than just a plain edge. I'm sure the plain edge does pretty damn well also, but I don't know, had to get it. And it was one of those sort of late night purchases. So I'm glad I pressed the go button because it arrived today. What do you think? Do you guys like the Vaquero, or the Vaquero, the Voyager series? I love the Voyager series, period. I can think of some other, I made once, I designed a sax. I thought a sax would go well in this handle. You know, to me, the drop point looks like a barong. You got the clip point, which is awesome. You got the tanto, which is also awesome. You have the wavy bladed Chris, which is like unprecedented and awesome. So I thought a sax would go well in that category. I think it'd be cool, but nothing beats that deep recurve. Oh my God, that's so cool. Edgy American says, I love my K390 Police 4, but it's far from stainless. But it did survive a trip through the laundry. Oy vey. Oh my God. Heart attack city. And that's also something like, you reach into the laundry, if you don't know it's in there and it's come out and it's somehow opened up and you're like, oh, let me just grab my laundry. That would be horrible. Mikey Daly, Carey, good to have you here, Mikey. My ESK has got to be an Umnumzan for a folder, and the Overland Sport for a fixie. Overland Sport. Now, is that TJ Schwartz Overland? I know he originally licensed that design to CRKT, but he's been making them as custom knives at his own shop. And the Umnumzan, just beautiful. I want my $5 back after that salute. All right. Let me see if I can find something more suitable. I don't think so. But, well, this is a clip point, but it's so no, I'll do this. I'll salute you with it's small, but it's a Jed Hornby, and it's super dope. Here, as the kids say, it's super dope. This is the Necromance, a double-edged fighting knife. Oh, man. This thing brings a tear to my eye. It's so beautiful. And a tear to my hand. It's so comfortable. It feels so good. That's a tear of joy to my hand, by the way. It is so comfortable. It's more comfortable than almost any other knife. And then you've got this great spot of jimping here and then up here. And that swedge is 0 ground to the point where it's like almost as sharp as a Mora. And then you have that sort of tanto-ish blade shape down below. It's a clip point. It's sort of a tanto, but it's 100% beautiful and unique. And just, I mean, you can't, maybe from looking at it, you can tell, but it is ridiculous in hand. Jed Hornby, amazing American knife maker who, man, I wish he would do this in a 7-inch and make it like a fighting classic. Here you go, man. This is for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You'll get a check for $5 in the mail. No, you won't. Well, give me your address. Maybe you'll get something in the mail. Have a Knife Day says the Texas was in dry dock getting repairs, so they offered up materials to the local knife making community. So that happened a couple of years ago. And I think it's cool that people are still working on that, and you know, that's still a project out there. What am I trying to say? It's like you know, they built a campaign around it for fundraising also, and I think that's cool. Cold Steel Collector says ESK today was the drop point Voyager large. I love that. Why don't they put the jimping on all the other ones? I love the jimping on the large drop point Voyager. Not that you need it. I don't need it. Sisu is in my top 5. I love that movie. I love that movie, and you got to see it. Sequel, it needs a sequel, says Canary S. Canary S, nice to have you here. I agree with you, and I love the actor. He's so cool. He's so stolid, and we we're watching. My wife hadn't seen it, and she's totally down for awesome movies. I mean, she loves her period pieces and her like, oh Cedric, all of her like, you know, British romancy kind of things from the Victorian age. But she also loves action adventure and sci-fi. We watched the Predator movie called Prey, where it's Predator versus an Indian Comanche girl. So she's down for everything. But we're watching Sisu, and there's the scene where he's crossing the river, and the Nazis keep jumping in to try and get him. He cuts their throats and breathes the air out of their lungs. And she's like, who made this? I'm like, I don't know, but it's awesome. Particularly bold. That movie is so good. If you haven't seen it, turn this off in 34 minutes and go watch. It's awesome. Hero Sticks, nice to see you here. Hero won last week. Hey, everyone, great night to be here. Appreciate you, Bob, Jim, and this fantastic community we have. Agreed. It's good to have you here, Hero. Hero has sent me some of the coolest knives to check out from his collection over the years, and I always appreciate that. Paul Mills, I wouldn't mind a V1 gunslinger. Oh, okay. You're talking about the Jack Wolf knife. Just because they are so thin, I bet they cut like a champ. Oh my God, they cut so well. And I think the V1 gunslinger was M390. They've been S90V for a good majority of the knives over the past. I think the first 5 or 6 models were M390, and then. But anyway, my point is great steels and incredibly thin and awesome grinds. And I've done a lot of cardboard cutting is the hardest stuff I've done with these, where you're just kind of doing a lot of cardboard, but no wiggle introduced, no nothing to the thin blades, just awesomeness. Craig Vincent says, by the way, Bob, worst part of undergoing surgery last week, and thank God that you're healthy and with us, was not the heart surgery. It was being separated from any knife for my duration of stay. Insult to injury, the surgeon was carrying his EDC. Yeah, no shit. No joke. But I mean, oh, actually, that's true. Last time I went to the emergency room for that, I did have to walk back to my car to return my knife. But I do remember visiting in hospital rooms, not having to worry about that, because I gave my brother a knife when he was in the hospital for something a couple of years ago, and when my daughters were born, I was well armed. No way I'm hanging out, and because I was like, someone's gonna try and take my baby. I don't know why I thought that, but damn, that vendetta is something else, says Hero Sticks. Yeah, this is right up your alley, isn't it, Hero? Beautiful. A great front flipper too. I do not do it well with my thumb. It's all right, but with my forefinger, it's just wicked. I love this thing. And the ergonomics, just stellar. James Hart, me like Eafengrow. Yeah? Well, they got some cool ones out there, and they're pretty reasonably priced, I got to say. Edgy American says, in the pocket today was the Spyderco Carahawk. Ooh, that's nice. That's the Karambit, right? Isn't the Carahawk a Karambit? Very nice. Cold Steel Collector 808 says, I'm partial to Cold Steel, but that's a very nice knife. Yes. Eafengrow is a very good brand, at least the one I own. Yeah, I think that On the Edge 72 will be happy with this. It seems, and I keep saying seems like, because I haven't done anything with it, but it's got a really nice feel. It's got a beautiful grind. I've sort of scrutinized the grind, and it feels great in hand. Power play for real. Good to have you here. I'm gonna need to count my Cold Steel knives. Should have about 130 or more. Also, very, very, very nice. So 130. We got 131 was our other count. They just make so many cool knives. So many cool knives. They are on the do not sell list. I've sold a bunch in the past, but I'm not doing it anymore. Will B says, I had the Grimsmo Norseman, the ZT308. I want one of those 308s. I want one of those 308s and a different kind of 308. Microtech Amphibian, Microtech Hera 2, Artisan Cutlery Trucks, not sure what that is. TKL Guardian, that's the triple-edged Wharncliffe. Olight Baton 3, the Ace Beam Tac 2 AA, and Heretic Thoth Bolt Pen. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay, the trucks though, I'm not sure what that one is, but man, I can always count on you. And you've got a lot of recurves there. The first 3 knives were recurves. Very nice. Jesse says the Matriarch 2 ESK. Okay, so you were carrying the Matriarch 2 from Spyderco, and your emotional support knife was the Concept Egress. Very, very nice knife. That's by Niche Designs. Very nice stuff. And CRKT Spew. I love the Spew. That's an Alan Foltz neck knife, Wharncliffe. I just take exception to the name Spew. I know it's like it stands for something, but I don't care what it stands for. It's Spew. Cold Steel Collector says, got any cold steels for sale? Negative, sir. Negatory. Not a one. Not a one. And actually, if I could take back the ones I sold, I would. Because, for instance, I was just lamenting. Where is it? Oh, I was lamenting I got rid of my medium Voyager Tonto. So I have this. And I just, now I want to get that. I'm like, what am I'm not going to carry it. I'm pretty darn sure I'm not going to carry it. When I carry a Voyager, it's always a large one. But I just kind of want it. Michael Upchurch says, Eafengrow and Sativian got me into budget knives with their great value. Yeah, the Sativians, we've had a few here. Those are really nice too. But anyone who's experienced an Eafengrow clone, say for instance, like the Strider, how is that? I mean, it's easier to get a fixed blade dialed in than a folder. So I'm just curious. Adrian Fighter 35 said today's carry was the Cold Steel Spartan and the trusty old Double Agent 2 serrated for neck carry. Yeah, that's an awesome knife. I have my, it's over there. I have my Double Agent 2. I used to have it wrapped with tape just to beef up the handle in the center a little bit, but now I have jute cord in there, and I like that. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, Bob, if you have a Nova 2, I'll buy that. That you did with hogtooth knives. Well, I got this one here, and this is mine. This is a prototype, and then the others I have 2 left over, and they're going to my daughters. Sorry to say, but I do know that in about a year's time, actually less than that, those will be starting to come out from him at Hogtooth Knife, and you'll be able to buy them there eventually. But thank you. I'm very proud of this knife, how it turned out. It's a real beauty, and it's a very useful knife, but also great in a pinch, I would imagine. Never had to fight with it, but I think it would be awesome if you needed to. But really, it's a great utility knife, and yeah. Thanks for the offer. Split and Slices says, Carry is a recon. And by the way, sir, I will be announcing, when that's available, broader and wider, I'll let people know. Split and Slices says, Carry is the Recon 1 Tonto, finally. You've been carrying the Spear Point for a long time, I know. The S35EN and a Real Steel Stella Lux Pocket Clip Slip Joint in D2. The Stella, I kind of remember when that came out. Is that, no, that's the one designed by Jacob of Poltergeist Works, if I'm not mistaken. That Recon 1, man, awesome. That's another one. I got rid of my Recon 1 Tonto also, which I don't even know what I was smoking at the time. But that's that. I mean, I don't know why I got rid of that. That's crazy. And it was a hollow ground one as well. Jammin Parker says Scallywag Gunner's Mate is their large 9-inch fixed blade. Today's EDC, oh, this is a nice one. Compliance Edge DCK, Bastinelli Spade serrated. That's the one I was thinking of when someone else mentioned the Bastinelli Gecko. I was thinking of the Spade. And the Spyderco Smock. Very nice carry, sir. That Compliance Edge is sweet. Cold Steel Collector says, love the Jimmy Choppa. Yeah, it is pretty sweet. Get to the chopper. Do it now. Craig Vincent says, LB7 is Schrade's version of the Buck 110. Okay. All right. That's cool. Oh, that's cool. And it's kind of angular a little bit. Looks kind of 70s-ish. My dad went to school with Danny Green, and we lived a few miles from where he got blown up. No shit. No kidding. Yeah, that's so funny. That is just a part of Cleveland lore. There's a movie called Kill the Irishman about it, and I haven't seen it, but I just tuned in the last few minutes of it, and I was a little disappointed that I'm pretty sure the location was definitely not the location, not how I remember it anyway. But how I always thought it was kind of not cool. Cool is not the right word. It's never cool when someone's like assassinated, but I thought it was kind of like fascinating as a young kid to know that a gangster was whacked at a dentist's office very close to where, to my stomping grounds. Cold Steel Collector says, very, very, very nice Voyagers there, brother. Thank you, Cold Steel Collector. I appreciate that. I actually like those Tangram knives. I have all the folders put away in storage. I think there were like 4 or 5 total. Yeah, there was the Santa Fe. There was the whatever the Dirk Pinkerton flipper was. That was pretty nice. A little bit small, but very nice design. There was that blue, I think it was mostly blue, but an aluminum button lock before button locks were big. And then I think a couple of others. Cold Steel Collector says, I just picked up the fully serrated Clip Point Voyager XL in BD1. What is this witchcraft? I didn't know you could get a fully serrated Clip Point anymore. Awesome. Now I'm finding gaping holes in my collection yet again. Adrian Fighter 35 says, awesome Voyager collection. Love that tofu story. Yeah, tofu ruined a steel blade. I mean, it didn't ruin it, but it definitely stained it. You can still see it right on the tip there. Anyway, vegans are the best. Vegans are the best ex-girlfriends. That's funny, Jacob. Hero Stick says, I talk about it most weeks, but the custom Dirk Pinkerton Smilodon is hands down my ESK. Yes, I love the Smilodon. I do not have one. I need to get one. Smilodon is like a saber-toothed tiger, right? The saber-toothed cat. But I know Dave has a really cool one. Fieldworks has a really cool one that he posts a lot recently. James Hart says, I have 2 Cold Steel Voyager folding knives, 2 Cold Steel Voyager, the drop point with the 4-inch blade and the XL clip point with the 5-inch. They're awesome. They are really awesome. I love them as collector knives, and they're inexpensive enough that you can collect them, or that, one can collect them without feeling too much guilt, though everyone's situation is different. As I like to say, as you get older and wiser, you just accumulate more stuff. But I love them because they're unique. No one makes these 5.5-inch folders with such regularity and with such stoutness and reliability over a long period of time. I know Kershaw has a couple of their large ones that look like Navajas, like Art Deco Navajas. I can't remember what those are called anymore. But not chintzy, but not flimsy, but definitely not beefy like this. So I mean, there are people there are companies that flirt with the large knives, but the large folders, but no one has embraced it as fully, not even by a mile, like Cold Steel. Cold Steel Collector 808 says, gotta run, junkies, taking the dog for a walk with the kiddos. Love y'all. Aloha. Aloha to you, sir. And take care of those kiddos. Have an awesome walk and bring a big Cold Steel. I'm sure you will. But it'll just make us all feel better. See you, man. Jed is a mad scientist. Yes, he is, says Shane of Edgy American Blade Works. Yeah, Jed Hornbeak is a mad scientist, and his knives are just, oh, they're so amazing. And to me, like I'm really lucky that I got what I think, in my opinion, or in my taste, is his very coolest knife. And he's made a lot of really cool knives. And he only made 3 of these, 3. And it's just so rare that I'm around when something is available or dropping from anyone, from any company I like or any maker. So the fact that I got this one was Providence, and I'd love to see him make a larger bladed version of this with the same exact handle. It'd be so cool. But in the meantime, this is so cool too. Pete Davidson says today's carry, was minimal. The Cali, oh, that's a nice one. 3.5. The Swiss Army Knife SD with ironwood scales and a Timascus O-Light. Someone asked me for a bottle opener. I used a spoon. My pockets feel naked. Wait. Why didn't you use the... Oh, well, because it's an SD Classic. It doesn't have a bottle opener. It's a small one. Excuse me. Ooh, that was a burp and a yawn together. Pleasant. James Hart says, the Texas was in dry dock last year to fix the hull damage. That's cool, man. So I just went on end of World War II and into the 50s era. So I guess Korea War era submarine, the Torsk in Baltimore, and it was so cool. I went with my younger daughter, a couple of weeks ago, and it was so cool. And no one else was on the ship, save for one woman and her young son who just like breezed through. My daughter and I walked through and savored it was crazy. There is no way I would last on a submarine. I would get cabin fever immediately. Oh my God. But it was very cool to be on it. Craig Vincent says, the Voyager is an epic knife series. I have every current version, but alas, I don't have any of the discontinued models. Life is a search. Check out this one. This one I got in a store. I like to tell this story. In Times Square in New York City, years ago in the early 90s when such things were permissible. There was a store called Roseland Martial Arts, and it was this Asian woman, Rose, and her family, and they had a big martial arts store with all sorts of crap in it. But they had a giant knife counter and everything Cold Steel sold at the time. And oh my God, it was so cool. And obviously, that's old New York. You can't find anything like that in New York City, except for Paragon Sports, which might still offer knives, but they're expensive custom knives, which I never figured out how they got that loophole. But anyway, this is so sharp, deep hollow ground. This is a Voyager 5-inch. Let me see. Yeah. 5-inch, made in Japan. So cool. Got that integrated clip there. I put the skateboard tape there under the clip and in several other places because for a while I carried this as my self-defense knife, and I always thought that it needed a little bit more guard, and this just made it feel grippier in hand. So yeah, this is awesome. You can find these on eBay pretty easily. Maybe not. I can't say I've seen this 5-inch version, but I was just looking at Cold Steels on eBay the past several evenings, and I've seen a lot of Voyagers, the large clip points and the large Vaquero Grandes. I guess that's repetitive and redundant, but check out eBay if you want to get some of the old Voyagers. Also the small ones, and then they eventually were making these, but with the metal clips and everything. So you can get all different sorts of eras of these. Pre-triad lock, but the locks are still stout as hell on these old Cold Steel backlocks. Todd Carr says, Leatherman Surge and accessories, Gerber Dime and Shard, the Swiss Army Knife Fieldmaster, Cold Steel AD-10, Paramilitary 2 and S110V. What's that handle color? Oh, blue, right? Tempest Microburst, 5th pocket. That's a cool little knife. The SPK, Steingraber Performance Knives, Sasquatch and Rex 121, damn. And the Olight i3T, Arkfeld UV, Rovivon A3, and Forest Hang. Todd Carr, man, nicely done. The Steingraber knives are awesome. I've got the one, the Shark. That thing is awesome. Mine is in crewware. It's the one crewware knife I have. Hero Stick says, in case folks didn't know, Quiet Carry just dropped a fresh batch of 9s. Pricey, but all of the reviews I've seen and heard report. It's absolutely outstanding. Quiet Carry. I've just heard of and seen Quiet Carry videos from our trusted voices in the knife verse, but I've never had one. It sounds awesome. Wilby says the Artisan Cutlery Trucks is a Ferrum Forge Knifeworks design titanium frame lock. Ooh, okay. I love Elliot's designs. Yeah, I like their designs a lot too. You know what I especially love are the flippers on those knives. Their knives, the flippers are all like kind of reverse of this, where you have this curved jimped surface, but it's flipped around to the other side. So you're not engaging with that sharp point. You're engaging with that nice surface, and it opens up beautifully. And then when it's open, it curves forward, which is cool and aggressive looking. I just like it. Trending rightly, as am I. Good to have you here with us, sir. Winkler Blue Ridge Hunter. I love the Winkler knives. I have a lot of knives, but I'm bonded with that one. I carry it often and use it a lot. The Blue Ridge Hunter, that's nice too. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of a reasonably sized Winkler. Not that the others are unreasonably sized, but I could see how you could carry that one on a somewhat regular basis if you live you know, kind of a suburban urban lifestyle, or any lifestyle. But what I'm trying to say is it's easily carried, and in those kind of lifestyles, you can't be walking around with a big fixed blade usually. The Eafengrow Strider clones are sadly way better than I hoped they'd be. Oh God. Okay, well, thanks, Shane. It's well, it's good to know. You know, I've had 2 Striders. This is the one I still have, obviously, and they've both suffered. This one not so much. The other one suffered terrible lock stick and weirdness with the lock. So, Red Astrachan, nice to have you here, Red. Eafengrow Strider clones, right hand only. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'm sure if Strider makes it, Eafengrow will clone it, or did. I guess they're not doing that anymore. They're selling off their old stock. Gary Bucco, nice to have you here, Gary. I love my cold steel large folders. So do I. Like, for a while there, that's all I would get from cold steel. I was like, that's all I'm interested in collecting anymore. But that's changed back. You know, I'm still just ravenous for anything cold steel. I hate to say it. And like I said before, not really the new designs. But that's fine. There are plenty of old designs that I still don't have, so don't have to worry about that. Craig Vincent says, I had no idea you can bring a knife to surgery. When I saw the guard and the metal detector, my heart sank. Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea you can't bring a knife to surgery. When I saw the guard and the metal detector, my heart sank. He understood my pain and told me to go outside and hide them in the bushes. Murica. Oh, man. Yeah. I've hidden in the bushes and have been successful, and I've hidden in the bushes and been unsuccessful. Coolest place I've been for that is Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home in Virginia, Monticello. It's a historical property you can go visit. It's beautiful and very cool to do so, but they have knife lockers. You walk up before you get to the metal detector. They have these clear plexiglass boxes with little, they look like mailboxes, basically like apartment building mailboxes, but they're all clear. You can see through them, and there's a key, and you open it up, you put your knife in there, you take the key, and you get your knife when you come back, because they've had so many people try and go through there with knives. And it's also cool because you don't have to walk down this very steep hill to get to your car to put it back. But but B, you can check out everyone else's knife, and that was cool too. And some people with pretty good taste the day I went. I remember seeing a 940, and I don't remember what else, but Gary Bucco, the hospitals should have that too. I mean, come on, what are we in the Middle Ages? Gary Bucco says, "I've been a huge Cold Steel fan since the '80s. I will never die that way." I'm sorry, and I will die that way. Here, Gary. Here's my first Cold Steel from the '80s. You can tell from the made in Japan in the typewriter letters. I love it. The Courier font. Cold Steel, Ventura, California. Yep, I think this is about 87, 88. I got this. Pete Davidson says, SOG used to have some great 5-inch oh, that's right. In the olden days, like the Fat Cat and the Pentagon. I missed the old days. Yeah, and they had a cool recurved one. Can't remember what that was called. Maybe that was the Fat Cat. A cool recurved one that was very tactical and plastic handle, but big. With their version, I guess it was the XR lock, their version of the sort of Axis style. Hero Stick says, "Hey Bob, have you handled any of Winter Blade's offerings to date? I've heard they're incredible, but not sure I've seen or heard your take." No, I have not. I actually can't even. I don't even actually know if I could conjure one up in my mind right now. Winter Blades, but I'm interested. I'm interested. Gary Bucco says, mostly because of the company that suggested it. Gary says, "I would love to have that knife from Jed Hornbeak that you have. The only have one, but it's not that one. I'm so jealous." Oh, you only have one, but it's not that one. I'm so jealous. Oh man, which one do you have? I remember thinking I didn't like the look of the kukri too much until I saw it in use and watched a video on it. I think it was Scab's video, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want that." I love the Bowie. That big Bowie knife he does is so beautiful. Oh, I still think about that Goose. Hero Stick says, "Hey Bob, I still think about that Gooseworks Delta Combat folder you have. That's actually the Mekong Delta Combat folder. Do you still carry that?" I sure do. I sure do. I just carried it recently. That would be one that would be pretty good to have reground, because they made that. They did a couple of runs of that, and they did 2 runs with it hollow ground. And the one that I got was not hollow ground. It's a flat grind and kind of oblique. But again, like what I was saying with the XM24, what am I doing with it that I really need to get at hollow ground? I don't really. But yeah, that knife is awesome, and they don't seem to make it right now. I don't know if they will again. It doesn't seem to be on offer. It's Resco Instruments, the watch guys who have Gooseworks. So to keep up with it, you should look at Resco Instruments. Jay Demeter says, "Did you know that the MXG deep carry pocket clip fits?" Oh, I did not know that. Well, now you do. Well, thank you, man. MXG gear I have on my Emersons, some Emersons and some Spydercos, but I didn't know that they fit Cold Steels. Hero Stick said, "Also would love to know what punk rock band you listened to back in the day." I loved The Damned. They were probably my favorite. The Damned, a little bit of Black Flag. I liked, punk. Man, some of the names are now escaping me. I also liked industrial a lot. I liked Ministry and KMFDM and Nitzaeb and bands like that. My best buddy Mike was more into the punk stuff. But yeah, I loved The Damned. I loved dark gothic stuff like Bauhaus. And then I liked the kind of dark industrial stuff like Ministry. And punk, a little less about the punk. Craig Vincent says today was the 8010 3V limited, the XL Voyager Tonto serrated. That's an awesome one. That's my XL Voyager Tonto is fully serrated. The Swift 3 in M4, that looks cool. I gotta admit, that looks cool. I just saw, who was it? Gideon Tacticals video on that. The Lucky 2 slip joint, the PM2 in S45VN, very nice. The PM3 in Magna Cut, the Kaiser Milita, the Manganas Purple Haze Caimano, oof, nice. Kaiser Grazioso, also nice, and also from Manganas, and the Kubi Titanium Titius. I'm going with Titius. Thank you very much. Very nice, Carrie, as always. Nice. Okay, that's Swift. I might have to investigate that. Jacob Green says, I own more cold steels than any other knife. I have to root for my home team. Funny enough, a lot of my training partners are former Cold Steel employees. No way. I know that Jacob does Krav Maga, right? So you must be out there in Ventura, California-ish. That's cool. Yeah, root for the home team. Their stuff is worth it. James Hart says, oh, and they've been doing some of their fancy reboots of their fancy folders, which also look really cool. James Hart, the Recon Tonto I have was made in 1995 out of carbon 5 steel. Carbon V steel, not 5, but V, and made in the USA. It came in a hardened nylon sheet. So carbon V. All right, carbon V. Gary Bucco says, Bob, the Jed Hornbeak that I bought was the one-off called the Slick Joe, made from a repurposed saw blade. How cool. It is awesome, and I gave it to my son-in-law because he's a chef, and I think he loves it. How cool. Gary, nicely done, man. You got to keep it in the family, though, right? Just so you can have visitation rights. Jam Parker says, I really want that Hornbeak Slick Joe. Really cool big blade. Speak of the devil. Gary says, by the way, my brother, I really appreciate you being here, and I live for your shows every week. Thank you for the kind words, Gary. I appreciate that. I just have to say that. Thank you from all of us in the knife community. This is great. Thank you so much, Gary. That means more than you know. That's awesome. I'm glad, because sometimes, well, not during this show, because I see your comments and Jim is back there, feeding them to me, and I love that. Sometimes when I do the other shows, or not the other shows, when I do the midweek supplemental, I'm just talking to myself. But here, like, I feel a community, and I feel, I remember week to week what people say and what they have. And anyway, Gary, that means a lot. Thank you, man. King of Knives says, sadly, I'm late and missed most of it, but I'm here. All right. In a nutshell, I love cold steel. Everyone here loves cold steel. Shane hates clip points. I got the new, well, it's not new. I got a new Voyager. I was showing them all from this to this, my very first one back in the 90s, or no, I guess late 90s, to this one that I just got today. I love the Vaquero blade. So we were talking a lot of cold steel tonight, but also Eafengrow. We gave away an Eafengrow tonight. This is like a recap because we're about to close here. I gave away this Eafengrow, which was sent to me, donated to the channel by Dave This Old, of OG Blade Reviews, and this is going out to On the Edge 72. Happy to do that. Craig Vincent says, I have no martial skills, but I carry enough knives to throw them fully auto as blunt objects. Then I slip away in an Uber. Hey, Craig, whatever you can do, man. Split and Slices says, thanks, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Have a great weekend, and see you on Sundays. On Sunday. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Byron, as always. Pete Davidson, hey, Bob, I heard you say once you were in a Rage Against the Machine type of band. That's right. Skeleton Tribe. Never would have picked it. And a Ministry fan. Do you like Prong, Type O Negative, and Nine Inch Nails? Yes. I really like them, I still do if I were to listen to them. Type O Negative, unfamiliar with, and Prong, unfamiliar with. But yeah, Ministry, I saw them a lot live. Fugazi, I loved Fugazi. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're awesome. They're right here from DC. Yeah, and my band was Rage Against the Machine before Rage Against the Machine was Rage Against the Machine. We were awesome. James Hart. So I ordered the EF123. I should have it by next week. How cool! Plus, I got the new Green River 4215 traditional knife. Oh, very nice. Green River. It will be my new kitchen knife. Awesome, James. Congratulations on your purchases. I'm wearing my newly acquired TKL. Oh, cool. 005 Tarani TCQ and Spyderco Shaman. King of Knives, use them in good health, man. Pete Davidson, did you wear baggy jeans and Adidas sneakers? No, sir. I wore Doc Martens and kind of regular sneakers. Never the suspenders. There were, All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. I'm done talking, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Thursday night is always the most fun. I love it, love it, love it. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and for the conversation and the company. Be sure to join us on Sunday for episode 573. I talked to Tate Buzzard of the Norman Tactical. Really cool guy and really awesome knife maker. I love his work, especially the Bowies he's been doing recently. He's the guy who built Zach Wingard's love handle knives. So do check that out. It's a great interview. All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next week, don't take dull for an answer.